Welcome to this guide that goes through how to place attributes in the right places. But before we start, even if you max out your character with attribute points, it's important to note that attribute points can only do so much, so getting the right items for certain workers is more important than their attributes. So let's start up with your transporter. These people move around everything, so they're very important. You want to have them very good at selling and fast at doing what they're doing. Now the most important stat for transporters are the negotiation skills. This stat will enable you to sell and buy for better prices, and it comes really handy if you start automating transporters. It's based on charisma, each click gives you +2 increase, and intelligence, which gives you +1 increase. There is no negative influence except if you have the charisma or intelligence below 3. The next stat is speed. It enables you to move around the map faster. High speed equals faster transporting network. This is good for transporting between businesses and warehouse. It's based on dexterity. Each dexterity click gives you a +1.5 increase, and strength, which gives you a +1 increase. It's negatively influenced by perception. Each click gives you a -1 decrease. Now workers, generally you have to focus on one stat, and that's productivity. Productivity speeds up all the crafting processes inside your businesses, and it's influenced by 3 factors, and that's level, dexterity, and intelligence. There's not much you can do about level, but dexterity and intelligence is important. Now dexterity gives you a +1 increase per click, but productivity is heavily hindered if your dexterity is below 3. You're also rewarded for the first point after 3 by a 10% bonus, then it returns back to 1% per click. The second attribute is intelligence. It gives you a +1.5 increase each click. Having it below 3 is also not a good idea, as you get hit by a -10 hidden debuff. That clears once you get 3 or above. This is your primary attribute, so get it as high as possible after you get 4 dexterity. Generally, productivity is the only stat you should worry about with your workers. Some businesses require your workers to go out and collect materials. You can cut down their travel time if you increase their speed. Speed is the ability to move around the map faster. It's based around dexterity and strength. Dexterity gives you an increase of 1.5 each click, and strength gives you an increase of +1. It's negatively influenced by perception. It gives you a -1 each click, so do not get any perception on characters that require you to zip about on the map. Physicians and their building chain is in a special state right now, as they automatically treat wounds for no profit or XP. You can use them to produce goods for sale and or use to heal yourself. Positive note about that is that the medicine and productivity stat goes well together, since their main attribute is intelligence. Medicine increases the success chance of applying medicine. It's based on the attribute intelligence. Each time you raise your intelligence, you get a +1.8 bonus to your medicine stat. You can also craft medicine and bandages inside the building chain. That's why it's nice to have productivity also on the physicians. And now to the last worker type left, Thieves. There's only one important factor to Thieves, and that is stealth. It's based on the attribute dexterity, so to level stealth you'll need dexterity, so the easiest class to decide on is actually Thieves. Stealth increases the ability to avoid detection. It's based on the attributes dexterity and perception. Dexterity gives you an increase of 1.2 each click, and perception gives you an increase of 1 per click. So it's a dexterity based stat. And also avoid adding any strength, as it will decrease your stealth by 1.5% each click. Most activities for beginner thieves is criminal in most cities. Therefore it's very good to have stealth to avoid getting detected and caught and then jailed or fined, which can be a huge detriment to your economy. Now to the final worker, Henchmen. There are a few ways to build them, but they primarily rely on their armor and weapons. Mercenaries fall under the same type of logic as henchmen, as they're basically the same except the type of work they are meant for. There are 3 stats I will not go over because right now they are either not working properly and will be fixed in the near future hopefully, or they cannot be influenced by attributes. And that's damage, the amount of damage you can inflict per hit, armor, and damage reduction. Now why I chose to not include damage is because it's bugged and does not factor negatively influencing attributes, and the positive way to increase it is primarily done through wearing proper weapons, since the boost you get from positive attributes gives you an increase of 0.33% increase each click. And then you have armor and damage reduction. They're based on the items you're using, so it can be influenced by attributes. You should still use your attribute points correctly, as early game you can't afford as good gear, so it's good to have some extra damage on them. 2 types of henchmen, and I will go through them by one. The first one is the Guard. It's a more upstanding version of it. Well, you focus primarily on the abilities to defend yourself and a person or a building. So you primarily focus on defense and attack power. Defense can mitigate more damage away from you, and it's based on dexterity. Each click or increase of dexterity gives you a 0.5 increase to your defense. Then you have attack power, which increases your hit chance. It's based on dexterity too, and each click or increase of dexterity gives you a +1 increase. So dexterity for the God class is very good. You want to max it as much as possible and give them the best amount of defense and attack power. The second class of Henchmen is a Thug. It's a criminal version of a God. It's primarily based around stealth, and as you know, stealth now increases the ability to avoid detection. So you want to add as much dexterity as possible, a bit of perception here and there. And the second stat that's important for the Thug is the attack power, which increases your hit chance. Again, similar to the Guard, it allows you to be able to hit a lot more and more frequent. Now, I recommend gearing up your mercenaries and henchmen with a plate mail, as it's the best in slot. It gives you 250 armor and -2 defense, but it also gives you +5 intimidation, which is very nice if you're going to do criminal activities. You also get a short swords, which counteracts that -2 defense from the plate mail. Short swords are currently the best in slot for weapon, so get that if you have the opportunity for it. After that, you get yourself a handgun. Handguns are really important in this game right now, as before a fight starts, you have a roll that basically allows you to shoot your gun. Once you shoot your gun, you can even take out the enemy and avoid the fight completely, like instantly win it, which is very nice. This way you can avoid damage, you don't have to worry a lot about your ejector being ineffective in the future. And then if you can't afford a handgun, which is very expensive in the beginning of the game, you can go for a crossbow. It's basically the same thing, but it's a bit weaker with less stats. Now finally, if you can't afford a short sword, try to use another weapon. Get yourself a weapon from the beginning of the game, because that will save you a lot of trouble in the long run. You can defend yourself easier. Now, when you are deciding between items for your backpack, you either get a carrying bag or a horse. Riding horse preferably, as it allows you to speed up around the map, or carrying bag if you can't afford a horse or there is no horses on the map right now for you. Hopefully this guide helped you out. If it did, please drop a like and comment if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.